Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Steve Gray, and thank you for watching. Today, we're going to be talking about Final Space Season 3, Episode 5. And this was kind of an emotional roller coaster of an episode, I guess is the best way you would describe it. A lot of emotions going on. They're getting sucked into a black hole, which we find out is actually kind of just an entrance to Invictus's lair. We kind of start off this episode with Lord Commander chasing them, damaging their ship, and then they light fold or light speed, whatever you would like to call it. They call it light fold in the episode. And they don't have navigation, so they're doing it blind, and then this is how they end up jumping to Invictus's black hole / lair, whatever you want to call it. It's like a man-made kind of black hole to get to Invictus. Him or herself, we don't really know itself, I guess, is that their self, whatever you would like to call Invictus, whatever they are. And Ash is kind of hearing Invictus inside of her head. Her powers are activating. We learned that she gets her powers from Invictus, is what the Lord Commander told her. We have confirmation in this episode that yes, she does get her powers from Invictus. But obviously she's very mad at Invictus for putting them in this situation, for taking over Fox's body, taking over her brother, and it's just not fun. It's not fun. Meanwhile, Quinn, I think with the combination of the final space sickness and whatever the black hole and extra gravity are doing to them, Quinn is seeing flashbacks of her sister Avery. I don't know if it was her younger or older sister. I believe it was technically her younger sister, even though she looked taller. So we get to see little Quinn. We get to see that her mother was very high-strung in the military, higher up in the military, and that her sister was always trying to compete with her, always try to be better than her. I'm guessing Quinn was kind of naturally gifted at a lot of things, and Avery was not really happy about that, so she's doing everything in her abilities to be better than Quinn. At least that's kind of my understanding of the dynamic. And we kind of learn how Avery ends up dying. So initially they're like on a boat in some world, and they're going after little trackers, trying to swim after them before they hit the bottom of the ocean or whatever body of water they're in. Quinn can't do it. Avery jumps in, almost drowns. That's where we see her mother. They bring her to the morgue, where she was kind of terrified because she thought, oh crap, I just witnessed my sister dying. I might have just killed my sister, even though in reality it was her sister's own decision, not hers. And her mother says, look at all these bodies. Shows them a bunch of their fallen comrades. She was like, these are people. These are individual people. One day you are going to be commanding them, and what you do is going to determine whether or not these types of people live or die. Every decision you make as a leader, as a commander, has consequences. And she is definitely kind of like from the child perspective. You see Quinn kind of looking up, gazing up at her mother in this situation. Then we kind of flash forward as well to her sister Avery. Quinn's actually in command. She is a higher up in the military, where Avery is more of a soldier. She's the one that's supposed to be listening to Quinn. Why they put them on the same team, I have no idea. It's usually a bad idea, having siblings fighting an enemy together, because, the power dynamic there. But Avery just doesn't listen to her, goes off, and ends up dying. And that's kind of what happens there. That's kind of where we end the episode. Then we also see Quinn very heavily infected with the final space sickness, so they really need to get out of final space fairly quick. We end the episode with Gary saying, shoot up, or get all the medical equipment ready. We need to see what the hell is going on with Quinn. All of the kind of yellow veins have spread to her face at this point in time. Her eyes are yellow too, and we don't really know how much longer she has to live before she ultimately dies. Moving on to Ash, because Quinn does actually end up walking outside of the ship while they're being sucked into the black hole. So she going after her sister, trying to save her sister, even though obviously it's not her fault. It was her sister's own decision. Ash has to finally overcome the fact that, Gary is like, look, you're the only one that can save Quinn. She's running off the edge of the ship. We need you to do this. We don't want to lose more people. And Ash has to determine whether or not her powers are Invictus's and she is Invictus's child, or they are her own. And I think she realizes that they are her own, even though when she uses her powers, she has a deep connection with Invictus that can hear that. That's when she ends up saving Quinn, thankfully. And she also ends up talking to Invictus, saying, you know, you took away my brother, things along those lines. And we end the episode also with her diving headfirst, you know, full power into the black hole to try to confront Invictus. And I think that's where we're going to end up seeing next episode, is Ash confronting Invictus and possibly saving Fox in the process and getting out of there. I mean, it's going to be an emotional roller coaster for Ash next episode, 100% in episode 6. Also going to be an emotional roller coaster because we need to get out of Final Space because Quinn is literally dying. This is not good. We gotta get out of Final Space. We don't know how long Quinn has left to live at this point in time, and it looks like the Final Space sickness is kind of fully taking over her. So meanwhile, while all of this is going on, those are kind of the main 2 points. We have Mooncake, Little Cato, Avocado, and Kevin all trying to go open up the engines to charge them, get them more powerful, suck out some of the energy from the black hole itself in order to kind of supercharge the engine so that way they can get out of that situation. The gravity is super intense. Everybody's feeling it. It's like 5 times the normal gravity. At one point, Avocado's eyeball literally pops out, and Kevin is trying to shove it back in his socket. Biscuits, in the meantime, he is there as well. We finally learned that he can adjust the gravity, which was really, really annoying. They were doing all of this hard work trying to move this, you know, lever under intense gravity, and Kevin ended up breaking the lever, so they ended up having to go outside of the ship to adjust it. And then we learned that Biscuits is like, oh yeah, by the way, we can just adjust this thing here and look, normal gravity. And everybody was really mad at Biscuits there for a minute. Apparently he is the human Kevin's intern for 30 years, so he is bare minimum 30 years old. We don't know how old he is compared to that, but apparently he's been an intern for 30 years. Doesn't look like he's that old, but who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. So he's at least 30. We know Biscuits' age is at least 30. At some point, I think Avocado is going to have to tell Little Cato about what happened with his parents. I'm sure that'll come about at some point in the next episode or 2. We'll see how that whole situation plays out. That'll be interesting to see. Yeah, they ended up going outside of the ship. You know, they got the engine discharged. And, you know, Little Cato's like, you know, we got to stop losing people. We lost Fox already. Now we're losing Ash, too. But Gary has, as I figured, Gary has full intention of saving Fox. And he actually tells Ash this. He was like, look, we need to get out of this situation. We need to save everybody in this situation. Get out of Final Space, possibly, so that way we can come up with a plan to come back here and save Fox. You know, we already saved Quinn. We got her. Should be all set in that regard. Now what we need to do is get everybody good to go so we can get Fox saved as well. They're not going to leave Fox behind. So that is a good thing. So either Ash is going to end up saving Fox herself, or they are all going to figure out how to get Fox back before they leave. Ultimately, what it comes down to right now is Quinn is getting very sick. As we saw with Earth, everybody kind of ends up dying after a certain amount of time. We don't really know how long Human Kevin has been there, because Human Kevin seems perfectly fine. But Quinn maybe she was in a different place. I know she was kind of like being controlled by Invictus. So I guess everybody has their own tolerance for these types of things. So who knows? Because it's a possibility that Human Kevin is also dying too of the sickness, and possibly Biscuits as well. Because I mean they've all been trapped in there, you know, relatively the same time as Quinn has. I know Quinn technically has been there the longest. But who knows? We'll have to see. Maybe they'll figure out a way to get Earth back into regular space too. That'd be interesting to see if that situation panned out correctly. But we haven't seen the D Winters yet. I feel like if you don't remember the D Winters from the previous season, that's the skin suit that Gary wore. So we're gonna just have to wait and see how that whole situation pans out too. But next episode, expect to see Invictus and Ash having a confrontation, possibly Fox getting saved as well. People being very worried about Quinn because she is full Final Space sickness. She's kind of losing her mind a little bit and probably dying in the process. And it's a possibility that the only person that can actually save her is Invictus. So there may be a trade-off there of where maybe Mooncake will sacrifice himself in order to save her. I think that's a possibility too, because I know Mooncake does like Quinn very much as well. I also, during the gravity part of it, I thought it was kind of hilarious. Mooncake got crushed by the gravity. He couldn't even actually float, and he just kind of looked like a giant ball of soup rolling on the floor, and I thought it was adorable. It was adorable and terrifying at the same time, because you got to see Mooncake in a little bit of pain. But I think that's where we're going to end this episode. We'll give this bad boy 8 out of 10. There wasn't really that much comedic anything in this episode. There was like a tiny bit with a PP joke, but it didn't really... It was very quick. It didn't really slow down the episode, so there wasn't a massive amount of comedic relief, which is fine. You know, good episode overall, 8 out of 10. That's what I'm going to give it. Let me know your thoughts, comments down below. Hit that like button, subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell while you're down there as well. My name is Steve Gray. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one.